Hey, good morning, Grateful Gab family. What's good with everybody? Hope everybody having a blessed week so far, filled with much joy, amazing, fun, love, all those things of positivity, man. Really appreciate y'all always tuning in. Um, I continue to see my growth around the world for my podcast. I appreciate everybody. Definitely trying to, find more ways to be able to interact with my different audience locations and, all those different things. But again, it's an everyday growing cycle, growing podcast every day I get, and I'm just truly blessed. So this morning I'll be speaking about educational requirements. I think would have benefited us in high school or just school coming up in a public school. This might be different from like boarding schools or private school. They might have these classes that they might require these classes to be in their curriculum and things of that nature. But for me, coming from APS schools in Atlanta, we didn't have this in my high school. So just even in my schools, period. And I think they definitely would have prepared a lot of us in life, even though a lot of us are already successful from my high school and from my high school class. Those different eras of students that came out of the different high schools in Atlanta and things of that nature. A lot of us are doing well off. Thankfully, we had a lot of us had great parents to be able to guide us and help us out and prepare us for the future. But a lot of people aren't as fortunate to have, parents like that and things of that nature. So this list is, again, just derived of some things that I feel like the education system should put a bigger magnifying glass on. And I got some of these ideas for some individuals as well that I met yesterday, and my wife, and we're just talking. So before I get into that, I'm going to get into the daily verse. The daily verse for the date of September 27th, 2022 derives from the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 14, and it states as follows. Seek good and not evil. See that. Excuse me, I'm going to start it again. Sorry, y'all. The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 14. Seek good and not evil, that ye may live, and so the Lord, the God of hosts, shall be with you as ye have spoken. And again, it's from the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 14. And so yes, on my list, starting off with the educational requirements for school, I started with Credit 101. And just because we all know how important credit is as adults, basically if you're not just wealthy, millionaire or billionaire, you just can't, if you can't afford all your stuff cash, nine times out of 10 you need credit. And that's a big emphasis. I don't know the average credit score for African American versus a Caucasian, but I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 the average for Caucasian has a better credit score. Not for every person, but like I just said, for the masses, that's what I would think. Just because, like I said, I think they knew I think our parents knew the formula as well. But again, I just think that, the resources that a lot of those other families had, they were put more into, really emphasizing those type of things, being prepared for the future, all that type of stuff. Because a lot of us from the slums, a lot of us, our parents just worry about, make sure the rent paid this month, or make sure we got food on the table, and all those type of things. And a lot of us, a lot of our parents didn't have the time and availability to speak about credit because they knew their credit situations, and and just the overall thing of credit is just basically paying your stuff on time, on time payments, credit cards, have a minuscule balance at the end of the month, when it's time to report to the credit bureaus, small things like that. Just affects your credit, the credit history, how long you've had credit, all these type of things. So I think Credit 101 should be put into classes around, in public schools, again, just to be able to have, better insight on how to build credit, maintain it, and grow your credit. Then the next one I had was money management, which falls into like budgeting, saving, writing checks, making a checking account. What is the difference between a checking and a savings account? All these type of things, because, I saw Ghana was in trial or whatever, or, he was in front of the judge somewhere, and the judge asked him, he said, do you have a checking account? He was like, I don't know what a checking account is. And I'm like, bro, you definitely know what a checking account is. You getting all this money, and you don't know where your money going into. And he was like, and a lady from the court was like, do you have a bank account? He was like, yeah, I got a bank account. I'm like, okay, bro. So, you know what I mean? Definitely money management should be definitely, brought up in public schools and just schools, period, to inform them of, again, checkings and savings and bonds and, IRAs and CDs and, all these type of things we can have, Roth TSPs versus traditionals, all these type of things that deal with money. We should be able to learn about these things early in our lifehoods and our childhoods to be able to prevail, to prevail forward and things of that nature. And again, a lot of this stuff, can fall on the parents. And I think definitely with our childhoods, from the current parents now, or the young, the younger parents, myself, a lot of these other parents nowadays, I think we definitely have, more of that mindset to be able to inform our kids of these things and put them in positions to be the best they could be. And again, I'm not saying that parents back in the days weren't doing this, but again, it's just more. Everything is more visual now. We've been experiencing more things through technology, and people are starting to understand more things and understand why things are important. So again, those are my first two: credit 101, money management. And I added resume building. Because everybody's not going to, go directly to college. And then even for the individuals who go directly into college, when you're getting ready to, go into the work market, workforce, things of that nature, you haven't really prepared yourself to build off the things you've done up to that point, from college until, you're really getting your first real job. And if you've had if you had a summer job, or if you had, volunteer work, all these type of things, all these type of actions and things you've done, for other people, or, like I said, for work reasons, those all can, play into a part of your resume. 'Cause, jobs look at, are you able to be a team player? Depending on what the job is, or the position is, or whatever it is, your organization, all these type of things. And we can definitely benefit from having these type of resources in our schools, to be required to learn, just so we can get ahead of the game. A lot of the stuff that's required now in school, to be able to pass, English, math, science, all this stuff. A lot of that we don't use. Math, reading, I would hope, those who think, I would hope, like science, histories, and, all that's just informative. It's information. Some science stuff is, we can understand why things, I guess, kind of work around the world, but ultimately it's God. Science was elevated to try to put sense into reasoning, I guess, or whatever. If y'all get what I'm saying. So yeah, resume building, investing too, is another thing as well, about the market, how to invest in the market. This new wave of digital currency, and you have foreign exchange trading, which is like, you different currencies of the world, and different countries and things like that, trading their money. It's a lot of things we can do for investments, and again, the schools should be able to find professional investment companies and things of that nature to be able to build curriculums and strategies to, invest in it and try to build yourself and build wealth and things of that nature. Then I asked a gentleman yesterday. I met him at one of the pizza chain restaurants yesterday, and I'll be getting him on my show as well in the future, just to be able to elaborate more on this topic and things of that nature. But at first he said, teach us how not to get scammed, and I asked him to inform me more of that, go more into depth, and he really had a time because he was working. But like I said, I'm gonna get him on there. But I just summed it up for him. I said street smart versus common sense. Just have lessons and requirements and curriculums about that as well, because it is a jungle out here. When you come into the real world, and people try to take advantage of you, and if you're not prepared for these things, you can be taken advantage of, in all type of angles. So that's basically what he was speaking about. Trying to tap into that, being street smart, and having common sense, and those two going hand in hand, and just not being book smart, and learning how to realize to be vigilant of your surroundings and understand body language, energy, all these type of things. Assess where you are. So those type of things, should be required as well. So street smart versus common sense classes. Again, just to be able to reiterate about the dangers of just a normal world, and how you could be taken advantage of, and how you need to be able to look out for your P's and Q's, things of that nature. And I got this idea. I got this topic from my wife. She said resiliency training. And again, that ties in getting prepared for the real world, even in our childhood. A lot of kids go through a lot of things, and just being able to have an open resource and open communication at the school, and a safe place to be able to build your mental strength, and really just have the ability to get better, and just really always, as long as we get breath in our body and God's with us, be able to bounce back from whatever it is. Because that's what resiliency really is, being able to overcome any hardships and obstacles in your life, and when you get knocked down, be able to get back up, and not when you get knocked down, crack or, just break yourself and don't want to have the ability to get up. So I thought it was a real good idea. Resiliency training definitely should be incorporated in the schools, again, to be able to build that mental strength, because a lot of kids go through stuff. A lot of kids experience PTSD and different traumas and different anxieties and stuff like that. So, it's definitely will be beneficial for that to be incorporated into schools as well. Another one is wellness curriculum, and that just falls under the umbrella of just human wellness altogether. Yeah, they have like health class and sex ed and those things like that, but we really don't go full into in depth about the different statistical medical harms they have in like black males or white males, or black women and white women, or whoever race it, just all these different ethnicities and things of that nature have higher chances of higher probabilities of this, lower probabilities, all these type of things. And wellness curriculum, I definitely think could be incorporated full all the way around, just the benefits of like vitamins, health, water, movement, nutrition, all these type of things, just really, again, get into depth, because a lot of this information is outdated in these books and not up to par. And again, I'm just speaking from when I went to school, my time in school and things like that. And I don't know how school currently is now, because my daughters aren't, currently in elementary school and things like that. But they will be one day, and I will, get into their curriculum and dive into, the things they're learning, and I'll be able to assess the current now education methods and things of that nature. But I definitely think, again, these are some topics and some education requirements that should be put into school. And last but not least, and I thought about this one for a little while last night, sign language. I met an individual at Wally World. He was an employee there a while back, and I was like, we were just talking about something, and I was like, yeah, man, it's cool to learn things and experience stuff. And he was like, he was learning how to play the guitar, and I was like, that's dope. It's something different. And everybody don't know how to do that or whatever. And he was like, yeah, man, I feel like everybody should know how to do sign language, so we all can be able to communicate. And I was like, that's so true. He was like, wherever you go around the world, you will be able to communicate with anybody. So I guess he was like, that should be like a global requirement that we all should learn sign language, again, so we can be able to communicate openly, no matter what country you go to, where you are. If it's an emergency and you can't, speak verbally, things of that nature, or you don't have, the resources around you to be able to, write something down or whatever it is, you can be able to communicate with sign language, and individuals would know. So that was kind of cool to be able to bring up, and a good idea. So I just put it on here. So maybe even, adding sign language, requirements, even if it's the basics, basic one-on-one, to be able to ask questions, speak, or whatever, whatever it is, those type of things to be able to communicate silently. So that's my information that I had this morning for y'all, man. That's what I was feeling. And again, that's my educational requirements. I feel I should be incorporated into school. I'm pretty sure it could be so much more. If y'all have any suggestions, any ideas, feel free to email me, gratefulgappodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to hear some feedback, love to hear some ideas, some things that y'all think should be incorporated into schools around the world. And just for us to get better. Until next time, y'all, appreciate the love and support, man. Y'all check me out on Twitter, grateful_gab. Check me out on Instagram at Grateful Gab Podcast. Check me out on all major podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Podbay. You can Google me, Grateful Gab Podcast, and all my other podcast platforms will show up as well. Again, I really appreciate the love and support, y'all, from the growth all the way around the world. To all my friends, family, loved ones, y'all be safe out there. To all my audience, to my growing audience, appreciate the love and support. Y'all be blessed out there. Y'all be easy. Until next time, stay tuned tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday. We'll be coming back with some great health topics, some things to get us better. And we'll just go forward. Until next time, y'all. Peace.